And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut. It's Chris Burns. It's Chris Lynch. This is Dysfunction Junction.
Now, usually, if you guys don't hear the music, and Matt Marsh, I hear it, and when I start talking, that means the music is over.
I can't hear the intro either.
Nobody cares. They heard it.
They did.
Out there in La La Land.
Yeah,
I heard it.
It's your Apple device. For some reason, Corey gets it a lot too.
And he's another one that will just be like, where's the music? Where's the music? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying,
No, I mean, I don't mind the fart part, but the tunes at the back end of the show, I love that song. And I'm like, oh, man, I look forward to that every time.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Put it on your, I don't know, add the track to your iPod shuffle. I don't know what to tell you.
There you go.
Put it on a mixtape, bitch. I don't know. That's more your speed.
It is. I do like my iPod.
Well,
it's not supported anymore.
We're gonna deliver you all sorts of juicy bullshit tonight. We got a midget, a murderer, and a diddler, and it's gonna be a fun trip, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Dysfunction Junction.
Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah!
Chris Burns here. In the corner to my right, it is
Mitch Lynch.
Chris Lynch. See, there you go. The producer extraordinaire, the man with no hair. He is Big Herm, Michael P.S. Herman.
What is up?
And returning for another engagement, it is the lover of all sandwiches, the king of naps. It is Matt Marsh.
Naps and sandwiches. Yeah.
But I know something else you like, and I'm going to crack a cold one just for you today.
Coors Banquet?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
The elixir of the gods.
Once a year I have one of those. That's the only soda I drink.
It's like somebody took tobacco spit and added carbonation.
See, why do you shit on everything everybody likes, man? It's distinctively different.
It's just so is eating ass, but
you do shit all over my iPod too.
Well,
you're those Spotify fuckers, aren't you?
Yeah, he is.
Spotify.
Can't have nice
well,
things.
if you're not on Tidal, you're not anything.
There it is. I'm on Tidal. I run the high end. I'm sorry.
What's Tidal?
I'm sorry, y'all don't have.
It's a high-end music service. That the files are lossless. They're big and they're true sound.
It's all. Did you just say lossless?
Yeah,
lossless.
It's music for DJs. So my quality, even when I stream, is lossless.
So it's like Pandora.
I have access to master tracks that you'll never hear. And I can call up it's a music service that was started by Jay-Z, and it pays the artists better than anything on the planet. It has and because they're all on file and they're all on board, the quality, the amount of tracks I have available, all kinds of shit. Like there's just the curated playlists. Yeah, it's really it's $40 a month. It's $40 a month. But
yikes.
It's the best music on the planet.
Well, you're still actively DJing, right? Or no?
No, but I still
$40 a month.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. All right. I'm just saying, because if you're actively DJing, is that tax deductible, like a write-off, or no?
No, but I still use all of that music and shit for depending on what I'm doing with this, or if I need a track, or anything I'm using and uploading is like the highest quality for anything I'm doing. Yeah, it's just.
Is Jay-Z married to Beyonce?
Yes.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Music Minute with Big Herm.
Yeah, it's like the elitist streaming music service, pretty much.
No, well, I'm not an elitist. I just got my Apple Music. See, Marsh is here, and every time Marsh is here, my fucking light falls down. Jesus Christ.
I go to the library and I get CDs, and then I download them into my computer, and then I move them to my phone.
The old school way.
Or I listen to them on YouTube.
God, we are a big bowl of compression.
We are moving. We are moving along. I am
it's
not
a big
listening
bowl
to
of
this.
Free is what it is.
I'm not
giant
listening to any
bowl
more
of
of this
compressional suck.
Yeah.
All right.
It's called frugal, bitch.
Oh my God. Let me ask you a question since I have a quick hit, and I know most of us are football fans. Raise your hand if your team won this week.
I know mine didn't.
I don't even know who my team is.
We're going to give you a team. By the end of this episode, I will have selected a team for you to follow for the rest of the season.
You know, I was going to pick a team, but they haven't named any after foods. I wanted like the Philly cheesesteaks and all that, and it just hasn't
Hamburg
happened.
hot dogs.
Or the New England clam chowders or the Boston cream pies or,
Ooh, cream pies.
Just,
The Boston cream pies, given the street jargon for what a cream pie is, I think that's the most appropriate fucking title of a football team.
That would be the best-selling jersey on the market.
You got cream pie that bought.
What would the logo be?
I don't know, like a vag. A big.
We used to have on Madden.
Giant V.
On Madden, you could create your own teams, and me and my buddies would create the weirdest teams. There was they'd give you these bogus logos, like a guy coming out of it looked like one of those street hole covers. So we're like, the manholes. Where do we put the manholes? Provincetown. So we had the Provincetown manholes. We had all sorts, anything we could think of that was just outrageous. A really goofy looking horse. They were the San Dimas Wild Stallions. We had so much fun creating teams back in the day.
The Boston cream pies, and then it's just, I don't know. Yeah,
have them play at Fenway. You have them play at Fenway, and the shirts outside. I got cream pied at Fenway.
Yes.
This shit writes itself.
There you go.
But
we just sold 1 million jerseys. Done.
That's it.
I came all the way to Boston, and all I got was a cream pie.
That's it. I'm going to ask Lynch because he watched that, not with me, but he was watching at the same time. And these are your words. The most intense last 2 minutes of a football game in the last couple of years.
Yeah. I said pre-show, and I'll say it again. Congratulations, Mr. Chris Burns, Atlanta Falcons.
They won?
They did. They won last night.
Holy shit.
When I say the most intense 2 minutes of football, Matt, I mean it. It was incredible. It's probably the best all-around football game I've seen in a couple of years as well.
Really?
It was
pretty close.
It was an up and down, back and forth for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then in the fourth quarter, the clock's counting down to 2 minutes, and I don't know where the fuck these Falcons came from, but it's like, holy shit, I'm getting paid to play football. I'm going to play football.
They came from Atlanta.
I was going to say the same thing, but I didn't
originally
step on his point.
Originally their mom, but anyway.
Yeah. One night 29 years ago, mom and dad laid down in a Buick, and here I come.
Now, Michael Vick used to quarterback for them, right?
That is correct.
Eagles.
Okay.
And the Eagles.
And the Eagles and the Steelers.
I think I was living in Virginia when that went on.
And Allenville Penitentiary. But I watched that.
California Penal.
California Penal. Wild thing.
I watched when the Eagles scored that last touchdown, and I stopped myself from texting, here it comes all over again. For years, and these two will tell you, Matt, I would always say the Falcons should be a hockey team because they play 3 periods of great sports, and they forget there's a fourth quarter. They have the most fourth quarter collapses in the last 10 years than any other team.
It's funny because I don't know a ton about them, but over the years, just seeing your Facebook post during football season, I just got the impression that it's like, you had to be an Atlanta fan, you had to be like a Red Sox fan pre-2004, where
that's exactly right.
Every year.
Exactly. I wanted to design a T-shirt. I took the letters in Falcons, and it stands for fans always left counting on next season. And it's true.
They'll break your heart, kid.
I looked at this season like it was going to be, it's a 17-game season. We'll go 9-8. And the first game they played well, lost to the Steelers. This game, the new look, the defense is sharp. The offense is sharp. That minute and 34 that it took for Kirk Cousins and Bijan Robinson to march them down the field and then get London in the end zone, giving Philadelphia 30 seconds to try to get the ball down the other way after they took the lead. This is a different team than I've seen in a long time. I'm not putting my eggs in the basket. I'm not going to become Dallas fan and say, this is our year, because it's not. But if this team stays this way, 3-4 years, They'll be a contender.
I'm gonna say a lot of that is due to the fact of the new quarterback,
Kirk Cousins.
He's a lot like Brady as far as his leadership. The other guys listen to him because he knows the game and he's passionate about it and he takes it very seriously.
Mm-hmm. Well, the same was true of Matt Ryan, except Matt Ryan had the Dan Marino syndrome where
he's a commentator now.
Yeah,
he's a commentator.
No
he
shit.
did 1 year with the Colts and then retired. But
what up, Chaka?
Chaka Khan in the house.
Chaka Khan. What up, my brother?
Chaka, if you haven't already, meet Matt Marsh, Sausage Gravy McGee, right there.
What's happening?
Matt Ryan had the Dan Marino syndrome, and it wasn't something he did. It's something the coaching staff did. They gave him all the receiving tools and no running. The 1 year they had running, they went to the Super Bowl and stopped running after the third quarter, even though New England could not stop that run.
Yeah,
you don't lose a 25-point lead when your running backs are going insane if you don't run. They didn't run. They lost the lead. It is what it is.
Well, and he was a victim of other people's poor choices and decisions as far as coaching.
Very much
as coaching wise.
They should. I'm telling you, in the next draft, he may be old, he may be senile, but they have their quarterback ready for them.
Yeah, the burn.
That's right. I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
Yeah, good football. Good football all around yesterday. This weekend. Some upsets, some expecteds. I expected Dallas to choke like they did, and
I was upset that Dallas didn't lose by more.
They can't get out of their own fucking way, man.
And I don't get it because in the first week they looked pretty good,
and I give that again. The reason being who their quarterback is. He is egotistical and thinks he can.
Oh, not only that.
He thinks he can stop. I got this. Now they're afraid of me. They're afraid of me.
No, they're not. They laugh at you.
No, they're not. They're laughing at you because they know where your hot buttons are and where you're.
Not only that, why would you get rid of a guy like Zeke Elliott only to bring back a guy like Zeke Elliott? That doesn't make any freaking sense at all.
I don't know.
Anyway. You got rid of him because he was a problem. Now you brought him back, and he's still the same problem. He'll get you 4 or 5 good yards on a good carry. He's not the answer.
No.
They got that other kid. I can't remember his name for the life of me. They give him the ball. He's cutting out 8, 9, 12 yards a carry, and then they're going to give it to Zeke because they're paying him a lot of money, and he's got to have the ball. I got to have that ball. He's making buku bucks, and he sucks.
Bring back Adrian Peterson.
That wouldn't suck.
He was
a wide receiver.
Fantasy football savior.
He was everybody's fantasy football savior.
Yes, he was.
But enough about football.
Yards.
Yep. If you guys' team won out there, congratulations to you. If your team didn't win, sorry, better luck next week. If you're a Cowboys fan, I hope you lose every week. And that is the end of our sports talk for the evening.
Hoorah, hoorah, hoorah.
So as Herm said in the title, a midget, a murderer, and a molester walk into a bar. Let's start with the midget. The Gary Coleman documentary on Peacock. Matt, you told us to watch this. Why don't you lead off? Give us your thoughts.
I don't have any recollection of this. I haven't even seen it.
It's in the chat. You're like, hey, the Gary Coleman documentary is coming up. We should watch it. So we all watched it, and you fell off.
Yeah, you did.
Motherfucker.
You did.
You didn't think this through.
Yeah. There it is.
I have no
did not think this through.
Oh, that's a pretty pussy.
Like weeks ago or something?
Yeah, yes. It was a while ago.
I remember posting a link to the hot dog eating contest on Netflix, but I don't remember the Coleman thing. Because I was
the one who said we all should review the Gary Coleman doc.
I have no recollection.
You know what? Get out of the chair. Put the cat in the chair. The cat has probably watched a documentary and can comment on it.
Oh shit! Watch this. Hold on.
I did, but I
saw
for you. I've seen the Surreal Life episode with Gary Coleman in it, so I feel adequately prepared for this. Or he was the waiter at like Johnny Rockets or something.
Yeah.
Then he got all mad and bullshit.
And either fortunately or unfortunately, I know a lot about Gary Coleman just because I paid attention when he was alive. Because it was such a fucking train wreck.
It was a train wreck.
His life was just whoa.
All right, so here it is. Don't forget to watch. This is Chris posting in the chat. Don't forget to watch the Gary Coleman doc on the cock that Marsh warned us about.
Yeah, I remember that comment, and I'm trying to think to myself at the time. I was like, I don't recall saying shit about Gary Coleman, but I mean, if you said I said it. I'm not denying it. I just have no recollection of it.
No, I know.
It's okay. We're old.
I can go back and search the entire fucking chat since it's beginning.
We're old.
Type Gary Coleman. Done.
I just fucking said I probably did say it. I just have no recollection.
No, it's good.
We're old. It's okay.
It's just we're helping.
Your cat is trying to molest you.
I totally
helping
like
with
I said,
memory loss. We understand the memory.
I forget what I had for breakfast yesterday.
We're helping you through it.
It's okay, Oliver North. You have no recollection of anything.
Yeah, but it's not denial. I mean, I probably did say it. I'm thinking to myself after that comment that Herm just quoted, and I'm like, I never really gave much of a shit about Gary Coleman. Why the fuck would I say that? But I don't know.
You had
Who knows, Mark? Who knows?
Diet delirium. I don't know. Maybe.
Diet delirium. I'm going with sugar
delirium.
loss.
There
Yes.
it is.
Low blood sugar.
Low blood sugar. I don't.
Way to go, Mark Furman. You
Let's
can't
talk
remember.
about Gary Coleman.
Let me ask you, have you been drinking lately? Because, I mean, I've thrown out some shit when I'm drinking, like, hey, let's do this. And 3 days later, Herm's like, what are we doing? Fuck if I know.
Well, at least you got a fucking excuse. I barely drink. I just have these less than lucid moments.
I got more than 810 on the SATs, too. So
840.
841.
It's the lack of cholesterol in our diet.
All right.
Fuck Matt
that's
Marsh. Probably what it is.
Right? It is. Your brain synapses use cholesterol to fire off.
What was my excuse before the diet? Fuck.
Old.
I don't know, but shut the fuck up. I'm working here, and you're not helping.
Right. All right. Fuck Matt Marsh. Herm, let you be the first to comment on the Gary Coleman documentary.
It was a really nice look into Gary himself. I think he got fucked over.
Oh yeah,
by a bunch of people. To what degree? We're not sure. There's money that they show that was moved. People say they never got money. They had about 46% of his income going to people other than himself.
Did you see that pie chart?
Yeah, he was supposed to have a 25% of his income put into this basically no touchy, just a savings account that's it. People involved in his money convinced the court to allow them to use it to invest rather than just leaving it alone. Every investment was 100% loss. So, he had a really hard time. Unfortunately, he wanted to be Gary Coleman, and everybody just wanted Arnold.
Yep.
And the kidney thing did not, and the medicine that stunted his growth and kept him small did not help him to be able to move out of anything but wanting that Arnold thing. So his career was tough.
Yeah.
Well, and you being with his health problems aside, being a child actor is not easy. I mean, that what his parents and other people did to his money is a direct violation of the Jackie Coogan Act. Jackie Coogan Act was enacted in the 30s or 40s to prevent people other than people have direct financial control of a minor's money. Jackie Coogan was a child actor who wanted to become Uncle Fester.
Oh, shit.
He was a big child actor, and he had at the time. Now think about it. In the 30s, he had millions of dollars that went away because his parents took every fucking dime, and they passed the Jackie Coogan Act. I want to say it was like 1939, 1940. I could be completely wrong, but that is to protect child actors from having that happen to them. And his parents were directly violating that act and doing things under the color of we're gonna invest the money to get rich quick. They listened to every fucking snake oil charmer that came down the pike and said, "Hey, give me 50 grand, I'll turn it into 100."
Well, the parents were his managers, but they weren't in charge of his money.
No, he had other people.
There was somebody else in charge of the money that made all the shitty investments. The
right,
issue
and convince the parents to let the money go.
Now, his parents were taking a percentage, and everybody was taking a percentage, but at the time, all of those numbers were the fucked up part was at the time, all of those numbers were industry standards.
Okay,
right.
So the Coogan law states that the Jackie Coogan law ensures the financial well-being of child actors by mandating that their employer, remember that, their employer, set aside 15% of a child actor's gross earnings in a Coogan trust account where it can be monitored but not withdrawn by a legal guardian until the child reaches legal maturity.
Okay,
that
was that 25% that was in his shit that was supposed to be put away and left untouched.
And it ended up being depleted.
Right. They ended up pulling off of that, and then it was used to create a pension for his parents. His parents were never the ones that actually did the money moving.
No.
There was just money moved for the parents. Also, the shitty investments, that money that wasn't supposed to be touched was used, and the court allowed them to invest it rather than leave it the fuck alone like it was supposed to be.
Yeah, right. Like what 15-year-old needs an apartment complex in Cleveland or an office complex in Sheboygan?
They don't. And I understand I understand even from the beginning, no matter how fucked up it is, I understand even if it was all done in the best interest, wanting to make your client's money grow. Even if that is the best case scenario, it turned out shitty and it was 100% lost. All three.
There's another, they weren't child actors at all.
But the fact is that money was never supposed to be touched in the manner that it was in any way, shape, or form, and the courts allowed it.
Yep.
And think about it. The act says 15% of the child's salary. They did 25, which is in good faith is 10% is a lot of cash when you're talking.
But those three words, Lynch, in good faith.
Well, think about it. A guy in his health, if he were to lose his insurance, if he were to lose his health insurance, what the fuck would he do? That 25% was supposed to be his nest egg. He was supposed to be his nest egg, and just in case fund that he loses insurance. Now, of course, everybody in the world can be insured now. That's just the state of the fact now. But in the 80s, that wasn't the case.
Correct.
So, I mean, if the Screen Actors Guild union decided I'm not covering your fucking bills anymore, that was a break glass in case of emergency fund, so he could keep himself sustained and alive. And I get that the parents set up a portion of that to be like a retirement fund for them. Great, whatever. I just think absolutely foul.
That's the problem. The problem is that the 25% was supposed to get put away and not touched for anything. Nothing. You can't. Right. You weren't allowed to take it out for anything.
Right. And that's the foul part about this whole thing is that some judge said yes.
And the monies that were moved were all done behind his back and technically kind of out of sight of the parents too. Yes. I'm not sure how culpable the parents are.
So I'm a skeptic, so I always go for they do.
I'm not sure how culpable they are. I'm also not sure how innocent they are.
Right.
Now they're estranged.
They were after he sued them.
Right. But that was
he sued the ever-loving shit out of him. Oh yeah, it was early 90s when he sued his parents over the lost financials. My biggest thing is, and it goes to the parent in me, and I know that, none of us here are super wealthy, but if you put something together and your kid is, say, we'll take like a college fund. Emma has a college fund. I'm sure Herm's boys have a college fund. Only two of them are going to use it. But if the kid is making the money, that should be there for the kid when the kid gets of a particular age and what have you. Not a lot of child actors make it out alive. For every Leo DiCaprio, you have Macaulay Culkin, who is doing Comic-Cons to make ends meet. And now he's doing commercials, for fuck's sake.
Well, then you look at a case like Emmanuel Lewis.
Emmanuel Lewis.
Webster. He disappeared.
Yeah.
He fell off the face of the earth because
he too after Michael Jackson touched you.
Oh shit.
He had the same problem financially and career-wise that Little Arnold did. He was typecast for the rest of his fucking life.
Little Arnold.
He was typecast for the rest of his fucking life. He could only play a child or a midget.
Little Arnold.
Little Arnold. It's such affection.
Say the line. Say the line. What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
Okay, so here's the cultural impact, and this is where I want to go with this because I don't want to talk about all the heartbreaking stuff. Man, it was like reliving my childhood watching that doc. So much so that I went to Amazon and Different Strokes, all 8 seasons are on there. I binge watched 3 of them. Oh yeah,
shit.
For free, and it's the good ones.
What, Mr. T?
Mr. T was one of them. Yes,
Yeah,
where he did his thing, Mr. J.
Mr. J.
when he was younger, you could feel that energy, and then as he got older, and he said it in the documentary, he said, you know, everybody in the show aged, but they kind of creeped me along. They wanted to keep me 8, 9, 10 years old.
I remember,
and you can't play 10 years old when you're 21.
No.
And the kid came off as too intelligent of a person. He was a super smart guy, super intelligent, super creative. I mean, I feel the human in me feels really, really bad about what happened to him.
I'm gonna take a time
about how shitty his life ended up. Go ahead.
Right. I want to take a time out because somebody said Emmanuel Lewis. He is retired. He left the business shortly after Webster. However, this is in his bio on his website. However, he still loves
then, wasn't he?
Then no. Okay, here's a culture shock for you.
He was a real little kid.
He was little.
Webster today is 53 years old.
Right. He's the same age. He
was our age. Yeah.
When he did that show and he was a little kid. Right.
He organizes every year the Radio, Music, and Film Summit. And on top of that, this is the part that makes me laugh. Emmanuel Lewis is also a martial arts expert and is a black belt in karate. He is a student and now a trainer in Billy Banks's Taibo.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, picture that. A little 3'5" kid is going to kick your ass.
Billy Blanks.
I'll bite you in the nuts. Come here.
Motherfucker, from the knees down, your ass is mine.
That's right.
Bro, you're going to look. I know you're mad at me, but your little ass is going to want to rethink this. Because I will put you between 2 slices of bread and eat you like a motherfucking sandwich, you little bastard.
He's going to, you watch out. Like Eddie Murphy said it. You don't know what people are like behind closed doors. You know what, Herm? I would love to see the headline. Big Herm ass kicked by Webster.
Dude, I would like to see the line too. I would like to see the line too. I'm going to throw this out there to the internet. Emmanuel, show up. Show the fuck up. Send me an invite, bro. I'll show the fuck up.
He could be like the Black Leprechaun, like
he could
Davis horror movies and shit.
He could he could be Black Leprechaun Panther. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm down, but let's put it on film. Let's show it to the world. I'm ready to get my ass kicked. Bring that shit. This was my
idea. This was my idea. I get 10%. I get 10% of the game.
I'm going to be laying there going, I didn't think this through.
Dude, another 45 pounds. I'm at fighting weight. Let's go, you little bastard. Come on.
It was my idea.
You'll weigh as much as Webster.
That's right.
Big Herm eats black man.
You got to wear the jacket, though.
I'm saying.
You have to wear the jacket.
You got to wear the jacket.
That's your ring entrance jacket.
Stick his ass in a leather Broncos jacket.
That fucking jacket, you look like a fucking superhero costume with that shit.
That is true, but then again, those 80s jackets were built to do that.
They were. That's true.
Oh.
And it was slimming. It was like that V-cut, like Armani suits and shit.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but you know, even to this day, if somebody said, I've said it to my daughter, and I had to show her what I meant. She goes, I hear people say that all the time. What you talk about, Willis? I had to show her where it came from. And she was like, oh, he's cute. I'm like, yeah, he's dead.
I still do that. I do that.
He's a grown. Fuck yeah. I think we did it on the show when we were first starting out. Herm said something dumb. Like, what are you talking about, Willis?
What are you talking about, Willis?
I do it to my wife all the time. I say, what are you talking about, Megan?
Now, how much money? I mean, I know they burned through his shit. I mean, in the years before he died, I mean, how much money did he have? I mean, was he like destitute, like having to work waiting tables and shit, or did he still have hooker money?
He had exactly $0 in the bank.
No shit.
Yeah, he was working hand to mouth. He would take whatever roles he could get, working security at some place, and then selling cars. And
He went from
Doing
car salesman to
commercials.
security guard to
Was he still
door-to-door
getting? I knew about
salesman.
the security guard shit. Was he still getting royalties or anything, or no?
I'm not sure about that. They didn't cover that. I would think he
No,
would because
what they did say was that they mentioned nothing about further money, but when he sued his parents, at the time, it was for a sum of the total he had been paid, and this was he left after the whole Different Strokes thing. When he sued his parents, at the time it was a total of $18 million that he had been paid through basically the Different Strokes money.
That was like 80s, 90s money.
Right. And it's because
those Different Strokes was canceled in 86. So
yeah, that was like 1981, 82, $18 million money.
Yeah, somebody else go to their Google machine, look that up. What's 18 million in today's money?
So because the case went to court and went into litigation, any syndication fees, this is just my speculation, any syndication fees or residuals are null because because it's contended. Now, or the other side of the coin could be whoever negotiated his contract didn't negotiate for syndication and royalties. That did happen a lot to kids. They wouldn't. The parents. The parents wouldn't hear that part from an agent.
What were the two kids? What were the two kids that did that show? Johnny Whitaker was one. The other girl killed herself. I can't remember. I hated the show. Had Mr. French
talking about
in it.
Family Affair.
There you go. And those kids got raked over the coals. That was in syndication for 20 years. And those kids made pennies on the dollar.
Because
Johnny Whitaker, in his book, and I read that 25 years ago, said he would get residuals from that, and the check would come in, and it would say like $495. And I'm not talking about $495. He's getting $5 a check.
Yeah. It's not worth the price of the paper and the stamp.
Right.
That's printed on.
I didn't realize that. So some guys got residuals and other ones didn't.
No. Anybody?
It's how they negotiate their. Yeah, it's how they negotiate their deal, Matt. I mean, if you have a business manager that's smart enough that says, we got to put some money aside for this kid. He's about to make more bank than most of us will in our lives.
So
we got to put away for him.
You can tell who had money, who came from money in Hollywood in the 70s, 80s, and 90s by how good
$60 million.
60. Okay,
it would be $60 million.
You could tell who came through Hollywood that was from a family of money by how good their lawyer was, and the guys, people with really good lawyers, had residuals and they got syndication payments.
Yeah, I know syndication was a big deal for a show when for residuals.
Syndication became really big in the 60s because TV shows didn't last 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. They only lasted between 3 to 6 seasons.
Bonanza, yeah.
Unless they only typically lasted 3 to 6, 7 seasons at most.
Why does it feel like Little House on the Prairie ran for 8,000 years?
Because when we were kids, every Sunday it was always on.
And there's reruns, but I mean that, and like I said, Bonanza, that was a very long run show.
Well, yeah, because Little House had 6-7 years in their full run, and then they had
movies.
You had
movie spinoffs.
You also had what was it? A new
beginning.
The New Beginning, or
you had that
was the one where Laura Ingalls.
Yeah,
the very hot Melissa Gilbert was
right.
Yeah.
See, and I thought the hotness would go in this conversation too. I always had a thing for Dana Plato. I'm not gonna lie.
I did not. I did.
Come on, that was the girl next door. You just wanted to hold her hand and take her to a movie. You'd probably take her to see Megaforce. I would have taken her to see Beverly Hills Cop.
Well,
Dream of Jeannie. Dream of Jeannie.
Once they
Mrs.
see Megaforce,
Brady.
they can't keep their clothes on.
That movie did not have that effect in my house. I'm not sure.
What movie?
Yeah, well, you did it wrong.
Because when Herm showed Jen that movie and she put more clothes on.
That's what I'm saying. Like she was like, I definitely need need some protection or something from this.
I need a sweater and 2 pairs of sweatpants.
Yes.
Honey, it's
Yes.
90 degrees
I knew
outside.
I wasn't
don't
getting
care.
pregnant that night as I had 3 pairs of socks on.
You were doing it wrong. You must have played in reverse or something.
Oh, Chaka comes up with Highway to Heaven. That's another great Michael Landon show.
Oh, yeah.
My grandparents loved
mentioned
that fucking show.
You know what? I remember it to this day. There was 2 episodes of Highway to Heaven I remember, and this kind of goes to the 80s and the child actors because Michael Landon worked with like every child actor ever.
He did.
Even Gary Coleman was on Little House as a cameo once because we're talking about Gary.
He was
Highway to Heaven. He pulled up.
I was
to a
just gonna
bookstore.
say he was a slave.
That
He
was
might have
after this.
Stop it. Highway to Heaven. He pulls up to a bookstore. Some teenagers park in the handicap spot, and he's trying to tell him, that's a handicap spot. Oh, what's the difference? I'll be out in 3 minutes. And he uses his God powers to flip the car over. And then the cops come. Not only do they get him for parking in the spot, but it's a nuisance to have an upside down car or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, sorry about that, guys. See you later."
Who was the actor in Who was the actor in that show with him?
Victor French.
Victor French.
Yeah, that's it. Victor French.
He was also on Little House on the Prairie.
Yes, he was.
I loved him.
Willie the Waver was a Highway to Heaven episode. He was just some guy, and they didn't know he was like independently wealthy. He was just this old dude who would stand out on the corner and wave at people as the traffic goes by, and people would throw shit at him and try to beat him up. He was just this really nice guy, and he dies in the episode. So Michael Landon's character and Victor French's character on the spot where he would stand and wave at people erected a little tablet, and I just had a hand that was waving and said, "Willie the Waver, he was nice." I'll never forget that episode as long as I live.
Wow. I must have forgot that one.
I didn't watch
My mom and I still make that joke. Willie the Waver.
My grandparents watched that show. My grandmother Lynch loved that fucking show. Oh my God. Loved Michael Landon. Anything with him in it, it was on TV.
It didn't much get into the God stuff, that Touched by an Angel and stuff like that. It just wasn't.
It wasn't for the God stuff. It was because my grandmother had a fucking lust for Michael Landon. She would watch him read the phone book.
That Michael Landon, I'm gonna tell you what, he make me moist. There ain't no man made me moist since Mike Douglas.
He did have some amazing hair.
He had the best hair, dude. There were hair bands in the 80s who probably called him up and be like, "Yo, Mike,
I'm looking for a haircut. What do you want?" "I want the Michael Landon." "Sorry, we can't do that."
"I want a Michael Landon with a little side of David Cassidy and
little Ted Nugent."
Well, Herm's halfway there. He's got the David Cassidy necklace. Herm woke up in love this morning. I'm going to say that. But yeah, overall, if I had to give it a star rating, and we'll go around the room except for Marsh because he's an idiot. I'm gonna give that documentary 4 out of 5 stars. It hit all the points. You learn, like Lynch said, it was a glimpse inside of the life of Gary Coleman. You learned things about him that you didn't know. And the reason it's not 5 stars is because if I have to listen to that twat's voice one more time, I will throw myself down the stairs.
It was tough.
The ex-wife?
Yes, the ex-wife.
Now, was that the stripper or the?
No, just a regular Utah bitch.
This was his
Mormon
the wife. It was the wife he was married to when
the Mormon stripper. That's how you do it.
Mormon stripper. That's there it was.
And what a way to go, too, man. Tripping, falling in your kitchen,
yeah. Allegedly
hitting your head.
Yeah, but again, investigated, and that's the whole thing. Allegedly, but dude, do any of us think she's smart enough to get away with anything?
No,
absolutely not.
No,
that was me. I'm like, you know what? I got to be like, she's dumb as a fucking box of rocks without the box.
She is every person.
She masterminded anything.
That's what she wants you to think. She's the Kaiser Sose of this story.
No. Jimmy, if Jimmy's watching, this woman is every person on Small Town Murder ever. They think they can get away with it. They think they got the plan of the hour. But they forget.
Nobody's ever thought of this before.
Right. But that's totally her. She totally would fuck up. And the police found nothing, not one single piece of anything. They couldn't. Everything in the story that goes with the story matches up. He basically, I'm figuring what happened was he wasn't feeling good. We know this. He passed out and smacked his head on a fucking hard floor. Do you know what's going to happen if I fall in my kitchen? It's fucking beautiful tile in there.
The floor is going to hurt, not you.
Also like
I'm just saying, like it's going to bust my head wide open. That's what happened to him.
Chaka wants to know, do you guys have a Discord group or anything? No, we have a Facebook group and an Instagram, and I think Herm started a TikTok.
There's a TikTok. There's some video.
Oh, there's some really great video of Marsh if you'd like to see it.
Great video.
I call it Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, it's Marsh taking a trip.
It's a little bad lighting. How many views are we up to on that?
About a grand ski, a little more, a little less.
Yeah, we had about 2 grand look at it.
Yeah.
Nice job. Now we'll convert him to the show. So, hey, Chaka, if you want to start something up, you want to spread the word, feel free. You will be a lifetime member of the Dysfunction Junction family. So there you go. Another documentary. Oh, wait, got to get star ratings from everybody else. Lynch, final thoughts and a star rating on the Gary Coleman documentary.
I did not watch the complete series. I was going to last night, but Megan's out of town again, and she's out of town basically for the rest of this fucking month into October, which I'm kind of bummed about.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
He knows I'm right down the road. He'll call.
It's the quiet I don't like. Even though she
put on some Motorhead.
Even though she drives me fucking crazy most nights, I love that. That's what I love about her. And I missed it.
Do you just fill the bathtub up with mayonnaise and freaking just go wild?
I get myself some sage flavored Epsom salt. Take a nice hot soak.
Oh.
Yeah, sage.
Then he says, "Oh, what a lovely tea party."
Oh, what a lovely tea party.
Chaka,
I'm the sexy stud.
Right, Chaka, we're Luddites, man. Just look us up on Instagram, Facebook. It's Dysfunction Junction. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, look for these 4 ugly mugs. You'll find us anywhere you go.
The capitalized Dysfunction Junction show.
Okay, so there you go. On Facebook, it's just Dysfunction Junction Show.
But if I had to rate what I saw, I definitely give it a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
Documentaries are tough. You can't really get a 5 on a documentary because documentaries are supposed to open up your head a little bit, because you may go into a documentary feeling a certain way about a case. I've gone into several documentaries feeling completely different than after I watched it. After I watched it, it gives you a little bit of insight as to how they came to that conclusion. And I've changed my mind on a few things.
There's only 4 documentaries in my lifetime I've ever given 5 stars to. So I agree with what you're saying. It's very hard.
It's hard because there's always more.
Are they? We got American Manhunt, which was about the Boston bombers.
Yep.
You have Waco, American Tragedy, which is obviously about Waco. What a Woman, and The Iceman Speaks, which was Richard Kuklinski's prison interviews.
Yeah, those were.
And that's a 3-part, 3-hour series under 3 different titles, but it was marketed as one. It's on HBO Max right now. Go look it up.
It's worth the watch.
Shit.
But yeah, that's my thoughts. I feel bad for the guy. I wish his outcome would have been a little bit different and not have been so destitute and desperate for.
Yeah, that sucks
for his health and his financial woes. I mean, you can't help but feel bad for him after what happened to him.
True.
And he was an eccentric little dude, and he did some crazy shit with his money, what he had access to at the time. But you know what? He lived his life the way he wanted to live it, and he just died young, unfortunately. That's all I got.
Okay. Herm, what'd you think overall in your 5-star rating?
I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4. It was solid. It was some good background that we didn't really know about him. There was some good insight into both sides of his story. I thought it hit all the high points. It was pretty good.
Okay. So we're all in agreement. 4 out of 5 stars, even though the guy who suggested we watch it dropped the ball on the 1-yard line.
I give it 2 snaps up with a twist and a kiss.
Excuse you. Yeah, your analysis does not exist.
Your analysis does not compute.
My car does not exist.
All right, moving right along, the second documentary we're going to be looking at tonight is the all-new Scot Perterson miniseries. I think that's also on the Cock.
Yes.
Or was that no? That was on Netflix. It doesn't matter. Go stream it. Find Scott Peterson.
It's Peacock.
Is it Peacock?
Yep.
And Herm and I and Lynch are on the same page with this. We've talked about it over the years. We talked about it pre-production. Hopefully, Matt, you've actually seen this. Yeah, he's just gonna nod his head. Very interesting case.
Say it out.
Which is held together by shoestrings.
I don't think so, Chris.
Rumors and say the line, ladies and gentlemen. Al Borland. This case, and I said it then, and I'll say it now, and you guys have all been in agreement with me. It's held together by shoestrings, rumor, and innuendo.
Innuendo.
The thing that not in her endo. That's another show. We're gonna do one star strip club reviews in a couple
That's some shit you check for on Pornhub for. Okay, that's
right.
That's more of a favorites thing than.
I like how he says that, and he gets 3 different answers. Yeah. No, you did, because you got 3 different answers.
It's an Italian suppository.
Oh my god!
Innuendo.
It's a fragile.
We'll start with who did we start with last time? We started with Herm. We'll start with Lynch. Give us your synopsis on the Scott Peterson doc. For all of you who don't know, and Chaka, I don't know how old you are, if you're even still in the fucking comment section or still watching. About 22 years ago, Scott Peterson was accused and eventually convicted of murdering his pregnant wife, and currently sits in prison to this day.
She was hot too.
I was gonna say that, dude. I wouldn't have killed her.
She was, man. I was all hung up on that.
Even when she was pregnant, I was like, "Hey, give me some sugar, baby."
So I'm going to start with this.
Stop shaking your head, Herm. That's nasty. Stop it.
I mean, she wasn't Persis, Combata, and Megaforce hot, but she was.
Here we go with the Megaforce bullshit.
Megaforce. So I'm going to start with this, Chris.
Go ahead.
My favorite piece of news out of that new documentary is when pressured to extract new DNA evidence, they decided not to pursue it. Why is that?
That's a good question. I thought that myself.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Here's your answer. Here's your answer. Because 22 years ago, when they started investigating this case, it was investigated worse than the fucking O.J. Simpson murders.
And even they used DNA.
It was
no,
we
but
heard
there was a complete breakdown of procedure.
Times through we heard it numerous times throughout the documentary. This became like a search for Scott and not a search for her.
For Lacey.
Yep. All right.
They already had their mind made up.
Right. Like they'd already decided that it was him.
Right.
And this documentary has been saying the same thing I've said for 20 fucking years. He shouldn't have been convicted in the first place. There was no evidence. The only physical evidence they had was a dead body that had a fetus in it. They found on a beach a couple months after, a month and a half, 2 months after.
They had no known cause of death. No known cause of death. No DNA from him anywhere on the body, on the tape.
Not in her.
They only
not
checked
in her.
There was definitely DNA of him on the body.
Well, of course, that's his fucking wife. You leave the house, you kiss her, there's DNA. You touch her hair. Hey, your hair looks nice.
Yeah.
DNA. So, DNA wouldn't have changed a fucking thing in this case, other than yes, your DNA. Of course, your DNA is there. Good point, man.
She's got me growing inside her. What the fuck?
So yeah, that initial investigation was investigated in reverse. Instead of looking for the victim, they were looking at where Scott Peterson was.
Then they tried to find a victim.
Right. Then they tried to find a victim because all they knew they had was where Scott Peterson had been and had not been.
What the fuck?
Oh, so they're going to try to manufacture a case based upon his whereabouts.
Right.
His whereabouts are inconsequential.
Right. They'd already had their solution. Now they just had to walk back how it happened.
They have to execute it and walk backwards. They're
basically writing a book. You know how you want the book to end. Now let's build how the book gets there.
Right. It's like shooting a movie chronologically out of order. I know what the ending's, but my ending is I just want to get a good cast of characters to portray everything else in the fucking middle.
How do I get there? The one thing I'm going to say And actually, two things. One, I believe that Scot Perterson is innocent more than I believe that Casey Anthony is innocent.
Oh yeah.
4 months to find the body is crazy. Chaka, I get that, but whoever killed her, and I'm not sure anybody on this panel is convinced it was Scot Perterson, dumped her in the middle of a harbor and weighted it down. And it eventually, when the body is in the water, it bloats. My dad was a detective. I learned a lot of this shit during the Casey Anthony thing. I lived in Florida when the whole search for Kaylee was going on.
You have to cut the stomach open and pop the lungs. Otherwise, they.
I don't care what you weighed her down with. Once that body bloats, that buoyancy is going to go against whatever you weighed her down with, float to the surface, and then move to the shore. Wow. I understand why it took 4 months, and it sucks to think about, especially because she came up beheaded. The baby came out of the womb and was found separately. There's a lot to this that just stinks to high heaven. But my other thing is, if Scot Perterson is guilty of anything, in my opinion, he's guilty of being a dumbass, because once your wife is missing and your face is all over fucking television around the nation, how are you going to tell your side piece you're in Paris? You have got to be 6 shades of stupid. The first thing I'd have done is like, baby, yeah, listen, I kind of maybe lied a little bit, but not too much, but a little bit. And you're going to see me on TV a lot. Bye.
So I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I'm not saying that he did do it.
No,
you know
there's equal proponents for every fact.
For the Innocence Project,
there's each side has a case.
Herm said it perfectly before pre-production. The Innocence Project isn't going to take a case. They don't think they can't at least get a crack at winning. They've looked at other cases where they're like, sorry, man, we pass.
They're selective
because every piece of evidence that was presented initially and is being hopefully represented now is circumstantial and speculative. Speculative. It's not concrete evidence. It's what I would hope and wish it to be, not what a concrete was. It's a thought thing.
The jury to make a subjective decision.
And to be honest,
not objective,
because the unfortunate part is they were given an objective testimony and objective statements. They said this is the truth and this is what happened. We're not going to ask how. We're not going to ask how. Don't ask me how we got there, but this is what happened. And would I have found if I were on that jury, me, either today or 20 years ago, I wouldn't have said yes. He absolutely did it because I don't have the proof.
So I have an adulterer. I have a really shitty liar. All right, that a guy that's a really shitty liar to his side piece, a guy that probably has said some fucked up shit, but I've heard no actual admissions of guilt, and I have no forensics of any kind.
Oh yeah, and even Marsh, we're going to throw it to him in a minute. The OJ case had more evidence than this case did. Lots more. And even OJ walked. Go ahead, Marsh. Did you watch any of this? Please tell me you watched any of this. Just please.
I watched the original trial when it happened.
Okay. Have you seen any of the documentaries henceforth? Okay, fair enough. So at least you have a modicum of understanding of.
I felt, a level of frustration at the time because, Scot Perterson was not a likable person because of, like you said, he was a liar. He was, this, that, and the other. But as far as, from an, evidentiary standpoint, there wasn't, I just don't understand how you can, come to the conclusions that they did and then, under those circumstances.
No, like I said, because they were told this is what happened, not presented evidence that would produce that truth. It was manufactured, and manufactured evidence is not evidence that you can take into consideration to prove guilt or innocence in that case. That's a mistrial, as far as I'm concerned, because it would have been a split. It would have been a split vote in the jury. Had it happened today, would it be the same outcome? That's a good question. 20 years forward, would the same outcome have happened in today's culture back to almost 20 years ago when he was on trial the first time?
I'm going to say no, but I'm also going to caveat that with the court tells you when you walk in that the prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, you can have doubt, but still vote guilty. Reasonable doubt. I saw nothing in any of that evidence from the time we all watched it on television, the search, Scott, the National Enquirer bullshit.
There was no beyond a shadow of a doubt anything.
No, That's what I'm saying.
Right.
There wasn't. What do they, and I'll go to Herm's point, what do they actually have that connects Scot Perterson to this crime? The answer is nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely.
He willingly, look, if you, Lynch had us watch that documentary, which I want to talk about next week, if we can, Into the Fire, which was fucking phenomenal. And you're right. I did say what the fuck about 35 times.
About 35 times, right? What the fuck?
Was that the one about the adopted kid who went missing?
Yes.
Now, where was I going with this? Okay. So watching this through the years and then watching the different documentaries, it's always been, I don't think he did it to, I really don't think he did it to now. I'm like, how in the absolute fuck did they put this guy in jail on shoestrings, bubblegum, rumor, and innuendo?
Well, I say that in today's culture, he would be found guilty.
They voted
because everybody thinks with their feelings and not the facts.
That's exactly what they did. They vote how they felt about him, not what the case presented.
Well, okay, great point, because you remember they did interviews with the jurors afterwards, and the one guy was like, and hey, Scott, it's illegal to kill your wife in the state of California. You didn't prove that he killed his fucking wife.
No.
All you proved is that he was a douchebag. And guess what? There's no law about being a douchebag.
Right.
If there were, there'd be a lot of people in fucking prison.
There's a really long fucking walk from being a douchebag to being a killer.
Right.
Because there have been other people on trial for murder who got off, even though they were douchebags, because they listened to their fucking lawyers and got good lawyers and sought good counsel. He's dumb. Herm said it best. He's fucking stupid.
He should have got Jose fucking Baez, is what he should have got.
I mean, he could have called Better Call Saul and gotten a better representation.
His lawyer, look, they did really well. The problem is the other issue. His lawyer overpromised.
Yeah.
His lawyer said we're going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, and he didn't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt either.
No, because he's trying to defend the indefendable. You can't defend somebody's feelings, and you can't defend somebody's emotion. And when you take those two things and make it as a consideration for guilt or innocence in any type of trial, you're not voting the right way. It's not how you feel. It's what you know. And if you know this to be a fact and you can prove that it's a fact, yes, and you have no shadow of a doubt that he didn't do it, then fine, go vote fucking guilty.
Right. I mean, I can know that somebody is a complete asshole, but also know that that person didn't do the crime you're trying to say they did.
I've worked with complete assholes who treat all the employees like fucking shit, but you know what? They're great with fucking customers. Mm-hmm. And they're really, really good at upselling and just blah, 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 blah. I've worked with people like that. And I admire that part. I admire that part of them.
Absolutely. Herm, I'm sending you a picture for the next segment because I'm looking at the time. We're double fisting tonight. We got Dysfunction now, and then at 8:00 we got the Speedway review. So if you're joining this, yeah, we're scheduling issue for the next couple of weeks. Don't worry about it. Tonight's the tester. We're gonna see if it works. If not, we'll figure something out.
Marathon.
Yeah, we're double fist, and we lost Lynch, and now fucking dipshit's walking away. Herm, let me ask you a question. If you were on that jury, the evidence provided to you, what would your vote have been and why?
I would not have voted him guilty. I got nothing. I have a lot of emotion. I have a lot of some lies, and everybody's like, well, he lied about this. He could lie about other things. You know what? You are right. You're right. He could totally lie about other things, but I think being a shitty husband, all right, and doesn't make you a killer. I think there's other issues. That they voted with their not they didn't vote with their conscience. They voted with their feelings.
Right. Instead of using your brain, you used your heart.
And how they felt about what type of person he was. Now, that's all right for making certain choices in life, but not in a case like this. It has to be more of you're looking for actual evidence.
Right. Let Lynch back in. He's back.
Oh, I got no evidence that forensically they dropped. So I have no evidence to even connect him to the body.
Right.
Right. Whole thing's a
It's what it is.
Bullshit.
Marsh, same question. You're sitting on the jury. Would you have convicted Scot Perterson?
I'd like to say no. I often wonder though how many of these juries have people on them, even though they're supposed to do the right thing, that just want to go home so bad that they just, send a guy to prison because they're sick of being there.
And that's always a valid question when it comes to a jury. I've heard it before in jury duty. If I get picked, I'm just whatever.
Just
he's guilty.
Guilty. Yeah, it's like that's
come on, man. You're supposed to do. You're doing a civic duty, and you're expunging justice here.
It's not just that. It's you're talking about a guy's life in a murder case for 20 fucking plus years. Like, Jesus
or life.
Jeffrey McDonald, same thing.
Yeah.
If you know about Jeffrey McDonald, look him up. I've read.
Yeah, I don't.
Army captain accused of killing his wife and 2 kids. He survived. He had 36 puncture wounds, didn't die, and they rang him up for murder with nothing other than you were there, you lived, you killed her, and the kids.
Yep.
The first book was written by Joe McGinnis, which was totally from the prosecution standpoint. The 2 defense attorneys wrote a book.
And that's the book the TV movie.
That's correct. Fatal Vision
was done from is Fatal Vision.
Yep. Now, you fast forward about 15 years, and in 1995, Fatal Justice came out by Fred Bost, who was one of the defense attorneys, and it basically tears open the prosecution's story and shows how exactly he shouldn't have been rung up, but he was.
Right.
So, and that was in 1970. What, 3, 4? Her?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
I think it was 74.
Yeah, so this guy is still in fucking prison to this day.
Because it was about 10 years later when they finally got to the TV movie series.
That's right, and Gary Cole was the lead actor.
Yes,
great.
I remember that.
He was Gary Coleman.
No, not Gary Coleman. That
would have been a great captain.
No, he was a man named Gary Cole.
I don't think Gary Coleman would have been.
Yeah, right.
A 3'7" Army captain killed his wife and kids, and then said, "What you talk about?
What you talking about, Judge?"
That would have been the shit. We should rewrite that movie.
I'm a victim of circumstance, Judgy.
Right? Oh my lord! Chaka comes up with a good point. There have been claims of juror misconduct during the original trial of Scot Perterson.
Yes.
There were.
And that's something else to take into consideration. Again, I think that point is very valid, Marsh. Let's just
a juror didn't disclose their involvement in the other legal proceedings, which could have biased their judgment. See, fantastic point.
Yeah.
See, Chaka Khan gets it.
That's the kind of shit you don't hear about until you do a little bit of digging or watch shit like this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happened. People seem to, but people forget little details like that over time. Not on purpose. It just happens.
Right. Who haven't I asked? Would you have convicted Scot Perterson? I think Lynch.
Me.
Would you have convicted him?
No, not in a million years. Not in a million years. There's no physical evidence tying him to anywhere or doing any such beheading or anything like that. Could he have? He probably anybody could kill somebody else.
Well,
I don't see motive Also,
I don't either.
Well, I mean,
well, they tried to use that they were going to split up, and he didn't.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
But there's
that's speculation.
He never
it is.
He never said that to anybody that
No.
that was what was going to be a problem
because it's not easy to speculate like that and run with that, because then that plants the seed of doubt in the jurors' minds.
No, absolutely.
It poisoned the jury with that kind of presenting that kind of fucking information as fact. So absolutely not.
They never actually had
a man of reasonable.
They never actually had anything viable to back that up with.
No, being a man of my 50s of reasonable intelligence and intellect, I personally would not have convicted anybody put on that stand with the circumstantial evidence that was presented to me.
Same. I'm with you. I'm with all of you. I think if anybody, especially they've asked
doesn't mean
Amber
he didn't do it.
Right, but they've asked even Amber Fry, do you think he did it? And even she won't commit to an answer.
And
that was the side piece.
Yeah, and you know what? That committal says a lot, because the non-committal says a lot, because she knows him just as intimately as anybody else, and she hasn't said anything one way or another whether he would be capable of it or not capable of it.
Without spoiling Into the Fire, how many of Dennis's family, stood right behind him, staunch and true, even though he had a litany of prosecutions, and said, nope, wasn't him. Nope, don't look at him. Nope, couldn't be him.
I see your point. I mean, it could happen.
It could. I'm not saying it happened in this particular case with Scott
Yeah,
Perterson, though.
And
that could be said about anything.
Into the Fire thing, we realized that important people kind of knew and just sloughed it off. And that's kind of the difference with Perterson, is that nobody's like, no, they're just like, he didn't do it. The family,
the Rokas were right behind him.
The family only changed their mind when they found out about the infidelity.
Yes,
they changed
1,000% correct
with because
playing
of
on
that.
Emotions.
Right, in that month between Lacey's missing to finding out he had a side piece, the Rokas were right behind him.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
Listen to you. That's why we can't have nice
the
things.
family was right with him, and the only thing that changed their mind was the infidelity.
Yep.
Infidelity.
All right, so oh, here we go. Good Christ. Anyway,
brown chicken, brown cow.
Speaking of Bow Chicka Wow Wow, the story that surfaced today that I sent you guys, and I'm glad we get to talk about it, is Diddy was being lit up on federal indictment.
Diddy or did
he? Diddy.
Well, he diddied me. I don't know.
He diddled
you.
I took the Cosby and then I was out cold. Federal prosecutors unsealed an indictment against Sean Diddy Combs on Tuesday morning that charged the rap icon with racketeering and sex trafficking by force. Combs has been accused that he has abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct, the prosecutor said in the document. Prosecutors have claimed that Combs carried out his scheme by relying on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in things amongst sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The arson thing threw me off, but I'm sure that'll come up in the days and weeks to come.
They probably burned a boat.
They could have done a lot. However, is it surprising that a music star could be depraved? I mean, the R. Kelly thing has come out.
Yeah.
No,
it doesn't surprise me. I shouldn't say disturbs me. I just think it's sad. I mean, obviously, because the sex trafficking, but when you have the kind of resources and the money, I mean, what did he need to go breaking laws for that he couldn't have just paid for? I don't get it.
Agreed. And look,
it's that sense of entitlement, man.
Gene Simmons,
this. I got all this money.
Gene Simmons is an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
And can beg and even at 74 years old could go out tomorrow and say, "Hi, I'm Gene Simmons," and some chick will be riding him in about 35 minutes.
What I'm saying.
Diddy is in his 40s, 50s. He's got to be our age. He can still go out and go, "Hi, I'm Diddy," and she'll be like,
"Yeah, let me Diddy your daddy." Yeah.
True. Chaka says in the comment section, "I really like that he was denied bail and will remain in custody, so he can't pay his way out." That is a good point.
Yeah, I was not shocked about that actually, because he's a high flight risk.
What bothers me is that the more we hear about some of these, and it's always rich folk, whether it's Jeffrey Epstein or Harvey Weinstein, and now it's Diddy, getting involved in shit like this. You're a fucking multi-bazillionaire. You have the world
That's
at your fucking
saying.
fingertips.
You have means. Why the fuck do you need to do this shit?
Well,
and I think, like Lynch said, because they're in such a stratosphere. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I'm Diddy.
Do you think
Who's going to tell me no?
Well, let me ask you a question then, because this goes back to Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, some of the others we've heard over the years. Do you think they live in such a bubble that they think that the rules don't apply to them?
Yes.
I do. Yes, especially Weinstein.
Some of them do. Yes.
Yeah, yes, because they do believe that. I'll tell you a little behind the scenes thing.
Dude, I believe that money is
casino.
power, straight up.
Listen. I witnessed it firsthand when Casino of the Sky opened in 2002, and they had all those celebrities there. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Nev Campbell demanded that an entire slot zone be closed because they, quote, didn't want the common folk around them. And pitched a fucking fit because they wouldn't close slot zone Bravo just for them. They are that fucking non-self-aware, and they live inside this tiny little bubble, and because they're protected by sycophants.
It's like the fucking layer cake, man.
They're protected by sycophants who say, "Oh, you're the prettiest, you're the nicest, you're the best. Oh, I love you, Mom. Well, you deserve everything. Nobody can ever tell you no." Then they start buying their own bullshit.
Well,
so of course they think they're entitled to do that. And
full disclosure, I did send Nev Campbell 24 roses and a dead possum, telling her how much I loved her. So that could be a reason.
And a Polaroid junk.
Because reasons.
This was before the days of dick pics.
Yeah.
Before Polaroids.
Yeah.
I sent her a plaster cast.
You sent her an etching in stone and tablet.
Try this on.
Chalk.
Chalk outline.
Here's a chalk rubbing.
It's been dead for a while. Bring it back to life.
Well, he definitely wasn't black. But anyway.
No, I think these people. I agree with you. These people live in a bubble, and we've seen it at the casino for however many years. We had to close down one of our outlets because John Bon Jovi wanted to come in and shop, him and his kids. I'm like, we technically cannot close the outlet. And I think it was the supervisor. You were not quite up in the hierarchy yet. You were moving. What's it, Emerson something or other?
Emerson Goodrich.
Emerson called Hernan, and Hernan, my director, and Hernan agreed. He's like, yep. And he said, listen, Chris, I know what the protocol is, and this is really not what you're supposed to do, but Hernan okayed it. Shut it down. Just you and the employees. Let John and his kids come in.
Was this that Farmer's Almanac store you worked in?
No, this is when he worked for
the casino.
Yeah,
Chris actually worked for the casino.
It was in the casino. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah. I was in the casino for 10 years before I left, and then came back and worked for the vendor store.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to tie that whole situation into why people are so up in arms about, on the opposite side, why Dave Grohl diddled and fucked another woman. Who cares?
Because he's Dave fucking Grohl.
Who cares?
Now,
I'll still listen to his fucking music. Foo Fighters.
He was in Nirvana until Kurt Cobain painted the ceiling with his insides.
I love the Foo Fighters. I think they're a great band. I love Dave Grohl. Doesn't change my how I look at him. So what? Are you fucking surprised a rock and roll star had an affair with a younger woman and got that person pregnant?
I'm
that's fucking shocking.
No, I'm disgusted.
Shocking. But that's the problem, is people are putting more attention on the fact that Dave Grohl stuck his dick in somebody else's pussy than somebody who they paid a lot of money to get their albums for many, many years and supported his rise to stardom. We're not concerned about that. That's a little bit more fucking disconcerting to me. Somebody who allegedly diddles children and uses them as fucking sex slaves. That's a little more alarming than fucking Dave Grohl sticking his dick in the Strange.
Herm, do you have that picture that I sent you?
Change his name to P. Diddle.
Yeah, I haven't moved it.
Okay. Before we close, I know we had about 15 minutes and then a 10-minute changeover. Somebody sent me this during the show, and I was like, "This has to be on the show." JR's in the comment section. What up, JR? How you doing, brother? There's been, and I've read a lot of biographies, autobiographies, I should say, by celebrities telling about their debaucherous life. But the one word that keeps coming up, whether it's Gene Simmons or, Robert Plant, David Cassidy. I'm trying to think of the actor. I read his autobiography years ago. Shit.
Leif
I
Garrett.
can't remember.
Not him.
No. Leif Garrett's a twat. You ever watch his Behind the Music? What a fucking twat.
Yeah, he was.
Watch it. Go find it on YouTube. He's a goddamn twat.
I'm watching wrestling ones right now, and I have to go on a list.
Understood. JR, we're talking about Diddy right now, actually. But the one word that keeps coming up in these autobiographies when they talk about their debauchery and their sex is consent. Everybody was a willing participant. I don't think I've read a biography by a celebrity that talks about their sexual antics that said, "Yeah, I forced this bitch to do it." Chaka says, "I just followed you guys on Insta." Thank you, Chaka.
Cool, man. Thank you.
You and the rest of the Khan family, please join us. We got Chaka and the Khans.
I don't know. I'm more concerned with P. Diddy potentially diddling little kids than anything else.
They said
that's disgusting if it's true.
I'm
sorry.
They said in one of the reports that the girls were as young as 13.
Well, some countries, I mean, I don't know where he was pulling these broads out of, but.
Oh, I mean, they bring them from everywhere. The
Western Bloc, bringing them
Eastern Bloc,
going there.
My man said broads out loud.
Listen, they were pulling from the Eastern Bloc. They were pulling from South Africa. They were pulling from South America, Bolivia, Peru, all those countries.
Right, so they were bringing these chicks here.
These chicks are 13 years old. Yes.
Me love you a long time.
I'm more inclined to believe that they were importing the chicks here stateside because going there, you get caught there. You got a longer ride to hide.
Stop.
It depends on the age of consent in the country.
No, doesn't matter. You're American.
Welcome to Diddy Deportes.
Diddy Deportes.
Oh, tell them.
Okay, can I just address the elephant in the room that Herm and I are losing our shit over? My man Marsh said broad as if it was a comma. Like nobody's where's he pulling these broads from? Like, what is this? 1978? What are you, Archie Bunker? Fuck.
I love it.
That's the first time you ever heard that? I use that. I
use it all the time.
My vernacular for fucking ever.
And then we use the word imported, and somebody goes, "Ooh," like it's
imported broads,
like it's cheese or wine.
Ooh, they're imported broads.
What
the hell?
Is that great coupon?
Broads, but with culture.
These broads are imported. Ooh.
Top dollar, top quality.
What the fuck? JR, I'll get to your question in a minute. As soon as I catch my breath.
You think you got all the answers? I changed the questions.
Racketeering basically is money laundering or exchanging cash for ill-gotten gains. It's not theft, but it's money laundering. And basically you're hiding money from
the IRS,
the government. So racketeering, you can call it anything racketeering. I mean, what Capone was guilty of was racketeering.
Fraud, extortion, bribery, threats, violence.
That's you throw all those terms in there. It's a broad umbrella term for all those things.
All of those are all of my favorite parenting tools.
Yes.
It's beautiful when you're a parent.
Extortion is my favorite.
It's not okay. It's okay when you're a parent. It's not okay when you're Whitey Bulger or Frank Costello.
No, you just have a bunch of kids and you have your own crime family. It's beautiful.
Bingo.
You pit one brother against the other brher.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's going to be in charge when dad's gone?
I work the middle. And I'm taking a cut of everything. Done.
Tim.
I'm going to die.
Timmy, you're the younger son. And I should give it to Sean, but Timmy, you're a strong kid. Now, do you hear what your brother Sean said about you?
That's right.
Shit like that, you're putting brother to brother.
I want to, JR, I'm not picking on you right now, but you just kind of beat Marsh for the comment of the night. JR says, okay, my dumbass thought it was something to do with tennis.
What are we talking about?
Racketeering.
He thought.
Oh, I got you.
The boom boom. But anyway,
why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, that's gross.
All right, dude. First of all, dude is fucked 6 ways to Sunday. He lived a very public life, and the beauty between this, and I say the beauty between this and say organized crime, the mafia, what have you, is that the mafia does it under the radar. Diddy's living his life out loud. And when I say out loud, it's like everybody knows what Diddy's doing because you're on TMZ or you like his music or he's on every fucking award show ever in the history of ever. He's living his life out loud. He's unapologetic. Whereas someone like Richard Kuklinski or John Gotti or, Whitey Bulger was under the radar. Yeah, they were under the radar.
So do you think Diddy done?
I am one of those people that says, the evidence looks bad, but innocent until proven guilty.
Because they're trying to throw a shitload of stuff out about Weinstein.
Well, I
don't know.
But Weinstein, there's so much. Weinstein's already been convicted.
Yeah, well, and here's the difference between about Weinstein and Diddy. Weinstein was also convicted during the Me Too movement, and a lot of that shit
basically started the fucking Me Too movement
because people started testifying to an untrue thing, and when they were questioned on it later on after the fucking trial, they're like, "Oh no, it never really happened." So that's why they're taking things away from Weinstein.
That's why Cosby's gimmick was overturned.
That's why Diddy having a sealed indictment, so nobody knows what's in it until it's served.
Partially sealed.
That speaks volumes.
Partially sealed, according to the AP wire, because enough of it was put to the public to let you know why.
Right,
he's getting lit up on these charges. They're not giving you,
but to keep that extra, to keep that extra layer of security on it.
Right.
Can we pull up Victor's comment? Victor's an old friend of mine from way back in the day, 1862. Diddy did. I believe he did. That, however, I'm not going to sit here and cast aspersions and say put him under the jail. And he's not going to ask for the Reverend Pimp Daddy to be his representation. He is going to get his high-powered lawyers. We're going to see how this plays out one way or the other, but the evidence, the preponderance.
He needs Jackie Childs is who he needs.
Yeah, but he's dead.
I'm just saying he need Kim's dad.
Nobody gets a criminal off like a Kardashian.
Yeah, no shit. That's good.
It's a travesty.
Ray J.
On that note, go ahead, Lynch, please.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Innocent until proven guilty. If that weren't a true statement, he fucking did it. He did it, and it's disgusting. And anybody who does that kind of thing, it doesn't deserve no trial. If you can prove it, he did it, no trial.
Yeah, but
bullets are fucking cheap,
and that wasn't proven shit.
Bullets are fucking cheap.
For the last 16 years, I've lived in a different world. Whereas back in the day, if any one of you three asked me about some diddling case, and I'd have been like, "Oh yeah, that's probably bunk," and someone's looking for money. Now I'm a girl dad. And shit like that really does happen. Not to the extent that a lot of these people want you to believe, but it does happen. And if my daughter came home and said, Diddy diddled me, Marsh is here. The light keeps falling over.
Yeah, but we know that stuff happens. It's just a question of whether or not, in your case is unique for sure. Can you look at it objectively?
I try to.
Yeah, that's fine.
I definitely try to. She's got her own romantic maladies going on right now. And while I'm being supportive, I'm like, I don't know the whole story, kid. And I can't sit here and go, fuck that kid. I can't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I know what it's like to be a teenage boy full of hormones and testosterone and all this bullshit. I don't know what it's like to be a teenage girl. I know what it's like to be the father of a teenage girl. And that's a very slippery line to walk on.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit more behind the scenes from when I worked my time at the casino.
Did he diddle you too?
No.
Did he did him wrong?
We almost had ratings right there.
Investigators would look at back page ads and Craigslist looking for red flag human trafficking stuff through the casino.
I believe it.
And I would help assist in those little investigations. Can you look and see if this person showed up at this hotel room, and if he or she did, how many times?
I can tell
kind
you
of shit. And then guess what? It matched some of the ads.
Yeah,
and these were 15 and 16-year-old girls who ran away from home.
I can tell you right now, being not in your position as security surveillance, but me being floor management, walking through and seeing some of these hoes running, and I say hoes to be, lighthearted. And one of my coworkers would look and be like, "Ooh, check out the talent." And I'm like, "Ooh, check out Jail. She's probably 15."
You can be a hoe at 15.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
when some fucking dirtbag promises you the world at 15 years old, daddy will take care of you forever. You just do these few things for me. I'll give you lots and lots of money.
Walk them.
What's that?
Walk them girls by the kitchen.
Yeah,
exactly. Watch all the felons go nuts.
Welcome to Harm's Meat Cooler.
Sweetheart, you like French fries? Done.
Yeah, I got a whole case in my back. Yeah, come on, I'll show you the case of French fries and chicken wings I got.
French fries, Alfredo. Done.
First, I give you the sausage, then you get the wings. Come on, follow me.
Boom,
Thank you.
No, I agree because it's scary being a girl dad.
More than you know.
Oh.
Especially, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but toot. My daughter is beautiful. Everybody thinks their kid is beautiful. I get comments all the time from people outside going, "Dude, your kid is beautiful." I'm like, "Don't remind me, please."
She's 16 going on 26.
Yeah,
fuck me running.
I can say that as a boy dad, I'm also worried about regret the next day in today's society.
Yes, 1000% yes.
And I'm not saying that to be sexist, but
but you're right.
Did you
talked
take
about
a
that.
picture of her driver's license? Did she present a driver's license to you? Did you ask her a couple of ID kind of questions?
The fuck, 3 months down the line, all of a sudden she's upset.
Did you get the consent written? Is it signed and dated? Like,
okay.
No, we told both the boys that shit. It's like fucking, you got to get everything like in triplicate now. You can't even ask a girl to homecoming and shit without fucking.
Jennifer's in the comment section. One of our oldest and dearest friends. We all know Jen Edwards, now Jen Edwards Scala. Someday, and that day may never come, if you, for 4 weeks, comment and watch the show in its entirety, I will let you know what I thought about you the first time I ever saw you. The end. I can tell you what you were wearing the first time I met you. So there, boom.
First time ever I saw your face.
Stop.
Age, kids.
We're showing all our age. You know what? Listen, Marsh, watch Into the Fire on the Peacock. I think it's on the Peacock, right?
It might be. I'm out next week, so I don't know.
Just look up Into the Fire. Be back Tuesday. We'll come up with some fun stuff, but definitely
two-parter, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it's 2 parts, if not 3.
I looked it up to see what it was about. It was
fan-fucking-tastic. I wanted to punch Lynch the first hour, and then the second hour, and he warned me. He goes, the second hour, you're going to say what the fuck about 50 times. I counted 35. Oh man, will we be able to be friends after that? Yes, dear, we will. Thank you, Jennifer. See, this is how you engage. Give them a challenge. Speaking of challenges, October 1st, we're going to have our next Speedway review contest. Since Lynch is a watcher and a listener, you'll be eligible. So October 1st, and our first episode will be, give me a second. I hate Face ID, by the way. I liked it when you could just touch the fucking phone and it would open. That's my age showing right now. Funny, October 1st will be a Tuesday, and hopefully we'll be back on Wednesday. So the first week of October, we have a listener contest that I've come up with. And you could be a winner. What is the prize? Don't know yet. I know what it is, but you don't. And you'll find out first week of October. The contest will run through all of October. I'd like to have a Dysfunction Junction contest. I'll talk to these 3, and we'll come up with something.
You get nothing.
Good day, sir.
How would you like to? There was a robbery across the street from Lacey Perterson home. Lacey tried to stop the robbery, and Lacey was gagged into a van dumped in the Bay Area of San Francisco at night after morning. Lacey went missing. I'm sorry to say, Scott Perterson wasn't really her killer. You know what, Caleb? That could be that is one of the theories.
That could be
absolutely one of the theories. And they never explored that avenue.
No, they kind of brushed it aside, and the robbery across the street on the same day raised a whole lot of red flags that they just looked at and went, "Oh, look, there's a flag," and then walked away.
Yeah,
fucking twats. So, gentlemen, it's been fun. It was great to have Marsh back. Marsh, come back next week and watch Into the Fire.
Into the Fire, on it.
Metallica song.
No, that's Jump in the Fire, you idiot. Into the Fire was Docking.
Herman, are you using skinny filters or do you just need a burger or some shit? It's like you look like a fucking cancer patient.
Look at that neck. It's like a turkey.
Herm, how many weeks do you have to live?
2.5.
Dude, you don't know how much I appreciate that. I'm just saying.
I'm like, the last 15 minutes,
blushing.
I'm like looking at him like, God, he looks fucking gaunt.
Herm's only halfway there and he's fucking looking skinny. What the fuck?
That is the best.
2 chins.
You just passed me for the best Herm compliment ever. Because whenever Herm cooks, I say, Herm, this is the most disgusting shit I've ever eaten in my life. And his answer is, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good
Don't
night,
forget,
everybody.
half hour. Come watch us on Speedway Review.
What?
I'll be there. Tonight.
Look at that neck. No, there's no wobble. There's nothing.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's an Adam's apple. It hasn't been seen in fucking decades.
He ate Adam and the apple. Yo, Scott, if you're watching in prison, you didn't have to kill her. You could have sent her to me. I'd have taken her off your hands.
I don't think he did.
Neither do I.